In the silence after thunder, I can hear their names. Echoes of the worlds we lost, burning in the flames. The sky is torn, the veil undone. Every truth we buried now becomes the sun. Kael walks through galaxies of ghosts, every breath 1,000 souls. Elira's tears fall through the void, love against the undertow. The stars remember what we tried.
The stars remember. In the wake of revelation, the galaxy trembles. The veil lies torn, and with it, the delicate illusion of order that once chained humanity to its lies. Forgotten worlds blaze back into existence, their names whispered across the void like prayers returning home. Every star hums with the ache of remembrance, and every soul bears the weight of truths too long buried. Kael carries within him the fractured chorus of the lost, the voices of billions resurrected in memory. He is no longer merely human, nor fully divine. He is the vessel, the living archive of everything the cosmos tried to erase. But the burden is devouring him. Every heartbeat fractures reality a little more, every memory threatens to consume what remains of his soul. Elira watches helplessly as the man she loves becomes the history he vowed to protect. Serin, torn between loyalty and fear, sees in Kael not salvation, but the spark of annihilation. Above Vela, fleets falter between belief and madness. Across the stars, cities riot, prayers collide, and truth itself becomes a weapon. The war for remembrance has ended, but the war for meaning has just begun. And as the last light of the veil flickers out, one question echoes through creation. When every forgotten soul awakens, who decides which memories are worth saving? This is the end of forgetting. This is the dawn of remembrance. And it begins with a man who carries eternity. Scene 1, the collapse of Vela. Location, Vela's spire, moments after the betrayal. The heart of the spire convulses, alive, dying, and reborn in the same breath. Crystalline veins snap like overstrained nerves, spilling light that bleeds into the air like liquid dawn. The floor heaves beneath Kael's boots, the entire structure seems to inhale, exhale, and fracture in rhythm with his heartbeat. Kael, voice raw, trembling between fury and despair. I never asked for this. I never wanted to be their god or their grave. But if I can't hold it, if I can't stop it. He looks up, the glow burning through his eyes. Then perhaps you were right, Serin. Perhaps I am the end they feared. The light surges violently, tearing through the chamber. Kael's form begins to unravel, his shadow dividing into many, each shape moving with a mind of its own. The warrior. The exile. The vessel. The forgotten child. They speak as one, their overlapping voices a low, trembling chorus. Echoed Kael, chorus of selves. You were born to remember. You were made to end forgetting. Elira stumbles forward, ash clinging to her hair like grey snow. Her voice cuts through the chaos, fragile but unyielding. Elira, screaming over the noise. Kael. You swore to hold them, not become them. Look at me, remember who you are. Kael's eyes flicker, torn between Elira's trembling silhouette and Serin's cold stare across the fractured floor. One hand glows with a soft, golden mercy, the other seethes with ruin, black lightning coiling around his fingers. Kael, voice cracking, near a whisper. If I carry all their memories, if I take everything they've lost, what remains of me? Then, silence. A low, ancient hum fills the void, as though the world itself is holding its breath. From the depths of the crumbling spire, the keeper's voice drifts upward, not gentle, not cruel, simply inevitable. Keeper, distant, fading like thunder on the horizon. Memory was never meant to be kind, Kael. But forgetting is the first death. Kael's knees buckle. The floor beneath him splits like glass under pressure. Through the widening chasm, a storm of light rises, not fire, not energy, but voices. Billions of voices. the forgotten, crying out from the wound between worlds. Exiled chorus, echoing like 1,000 winds. Bind us, or we unmake the stars. Kael's tears vaporize against the heat of the light. He lifts his gaze, eyes now twin novas burning through the veil of reality itself. His body shakes under the weight of every life he remembers. Kael, shouting into the storm, with defiance and grace. Then I'll bind you. But not as shadows, not as echoes, as truth. He drives his palms into the floor. The impact resounds like a cosmic heartbeat, one single, blinding pulse that tears through Vela's crust. The spire shatters. The veil unravels. From the breach, waves of remembrance flood across the galaxy. Forgotten worlds ignite, their names returning to the tongues of those who had never known them. Extinct species draw their first breath again. Lost histories pour like rivers into sleeping minds. The universe trembles, not in fear, but in recognition. And through it all, Kael stands at the center of the storm, arms spread wide, eyes aflame with eternity. The age of forgetting dies in his scream. Scene 2, the weight of remembering. Location, orbit above the dead planet, moments after the collapse. The war has ended, but the silence feels like an autopsy. The fleets drift aimlessly in the void above Vela's corpse, engines quiet, weapons forgotten. What remains is only light, thin ribbons of it, still rippling outward from the broken planet below like dying nerves searching for purpose. Inside the command decks of both human and exiled vessels, men and women tremble beneath a flood of memories not their own. The air is thick with whispers, ghosts speaking through the living. Captain Reese grips the edge of his console, his pupils dilated, his breath unsteady. His voice barely makes it through the comms, a whisper swallowed by awe and guilt. Captain Reese, hoarse, trembling. It's all of them. Every life I took. Every world I signed away. They are inside my head, and they are watching. Across the fleet, alarms flicker half-heartedly, forgotten. Soldiers collapse where they stand, not from wounds, but from the unbearable weight of remembrance. Rebel pilot, sobbing, voice breaking over the intercom. I can hear my brother, the one we lost at Halo's reach. He's thanking me. And forgiving me. A long silence follows. Then another pilot's voice, shaking but resolute. Second pilot. Forgiving us doesn't mean we were right. The comm channels go quiet again, not out of order, but reverence. Outside, the exiled fleets turn toward the human ships. The light from their engines glows the same hue as humanity's now, no longer red and gold, but one single shimmering tone. Enemies look at one another across the vacuum, not as soldiers, but as reflections of the same sin. Narration, soft, elegiac. For the first time since the First War, no one remembers who fired the first shot, only why. Through the viewport of the Etherian, Elira watches the world below splinter like glass over water. Her face is illuminated by the soft, dying light of Vela, half sorrow, half wonder. Elira, whispering to herself. He did it. He made them remember. Every soul. Every crime. Every love buried in the dark. She exhales, tears glinting. But what has he become to do it? The planet's core pulses, once. Not a shockwave, but a heartbeat. It rolls through the fleets like a divine tremor, resonating through hulls, through metal, through bone. Every being feels it, a single moment of cosmic unity where every consciousness hums in the same key. And then, stillness. The light withdraws, fading like the breath of a dying god. The stars themselves seem dimmer, as though reluctant to shine after such truth. Serin's voice, quiet, from the bridge shadows. It's over, isn't it? Elira doesn't answer. Her gaze drifts to the fading glow of the planet below, the place where Kael vanished into light. Elira, softly. No, Serin. It's begun. He's bound them all, and himself with them. a long pause. The screen flickers. Across every ship, every system, a faint echo ripples through the comms, not speech, not sound, but Kael's voice, carried in the residual hum of remembrance. Kael's voice, distant, resonant. Do not mourn the remembered. Mourn only the ones who forget again. The words linger, heavy, sacred, ungraspable. The fleets drift on, silent witnesses to the birth of a new universe, one that remembers everything. And from the broken surface of Vela, a faint pulse of light answers, like a heartbeat refusing to die. Scene 3, the last conversation. Location, the surface of Vela, now silent. The storm has passed. Where once the spire towered toward the heavens, now lies only ruin, a crater of fractured glass and quiet light. The air shimmers faintly, as if still holding the echo of what was just unleashed. The sky above no longer burns with fury, the stars now hang low and ancient, their glow patient and knowing. At the heart of the devastation, Kael lies motionless, the last fragment of radiance flickering through his veins. Light seeps gently from his eyes like tears made of dawn. Each breath seems to pull the universe closer, as though creation itself leans in to listen. Elira stumbles through the wreckage, her boots crunching on crystallized dust. When she finds him, she falls to her knees, cradling his head with trembling hands. The silence between them feels sacred, too vast to fill with words. Elira, softly, voice breaking. Kael, it's over. The veil's gone. The worlds remember again. They are free. Kael's lips curl into a faint smile, weary, luminous, infinite. His voice emerges as 1,000 whispers woven into one, the resonance of every soul he carries. Kael, weak, serene. Freedom isn't peace, Elira. It's the burden of remembering what peace truly costs. Elira presses her forehead against his, tears falling into the faint glow of his skin. Elira, sobbing, desperate. You'll fade if you keep them all inside you. Please, let it go. Let them go. Kael exhales a quiet laugh, fragile, like glass about to break. His gaze drifts beyond her, to the endless vault of stars now burning with the light of remembrance. Kael, smiling faintly, voice trembling. I can't. I am them now. Their love. Their guilt. Their hope. Every world, every prayer, all of it sings through me. He lifts his hand with effort, finding hers. His palm burns softly, translucent like molten crystal. Beneath his chest, the embedded shard, the heart of the spire, pulses weakly, each beat slower, heavier, further apart. Kael, barely a whisper. When they forget again, and they will, tell them we tried, to make memory kind. Elira closes her eyes, clutching his hand to her chest. Elira, through tears. I won't let you vanish into legend. I won't let you die a myth. Kael's expression softens, a smile filled with melancholy grace. Kael, fading, voice gentle. Then remember me, not as savior, Elira, but as reminder. He exhales one last breath, a sigh that seems to carry the sound of waves, wind, and every heartbeat that ever was. The light around him brightens, then steadies, then slowly dims. His body unravels into a cascade of shimmering dust, not falling, but rising. Each particle ascends, glowing faintly, drawn upward by an unseen current. Elira watches, motionless, as the dust disperses into the atmosphere, scattering, twining, igniting. Moments later, the night sky blooms with newborn stars, millions of them, flaring to life in slow, graceful succession. The galaxy breathes again. Elira's whisper trembles into the silence. Elira, softly. Good night, Kael. The wind answers her with a sigh that sounds almost like his laughter, faint, eternal, woven into the starlight above. The stars remember. Scene 4, the Age of Remembrance. Location, the reborn Earth, decades later. The world is quieter now. Not empty, but thoughtful. In the rebuilt capital, where towers once scraped the heavens in arrogance, now rise sanctuaries of crystal and light, structures that hum softly, tuned to the same frequency as the veil that once divided creation. The council chambers stand restored, though changed, circular, transparent, without walls to separate nations or species. Every voice echoes equally within its open dome. Elira stands at the center, older, hair streaked with silver, her eyes carrying the weight of galaxies. Before her floats a vast holographic sphere, a living archive of stars, each one pulsing faintly, a fragment of Kael's bound memory. Around her, people of many worlds, human and exiled alike, listen in reverent silence. Elira begins to speak, her voice steady, almost ceremonial. Elira. When the veil fell, we saw not an ending, but a reflection. We learned that to forget is to die slowly, and to remember is to live painfully, yet honestly. She touches the glowing sphere, light ripples across its surface, illuminating the hall with 1,000 subtle hues. Elira, continuing. Kael Dral, the vessel, gave himself so that truth could no longer be buried. He carried within him the voices we silenced, the histories we burned, the souls we erased. And in his final breath, he gave us back our memory, and our conscience. The crowd remains utterly still. A faint hum begins, the resonance of the stars above aligning, as if Kael's heartbeat still echoes across creation. Elira, lowering her head. But remembering is not enough. We must choose to keep remembering, every day, every choice, every voice. For the moment we forget again, he dies a second death. Her gaze drifts to the heavens, through the transparent dome where the newborn stars shimmer like silent witnesses. Elira, softly, almost a whisper. He once told me memory is kindness made immortal. I finally understand what he meant. She looks down at the gathered assembly, human and exile seated side by side, their faces marked by awe and sorrow alike. Elira, raising her hand. Let this day be marked not by victory, but by vow. From this day forth, no history will be erased, no life forgotten, no truth silenced. The crowd murmurs the ancient phrase of unity, a chorus that swells through the chamber and out into the open air. Crowd, in unison. Remember, or be unmade. Elira steps back, watching as the holographic sphere projects Kael's likeness, not as a god, nor a ghost, but as he was, weary, flawed, resolute. His image smiles faintly, then fades into the starlight. Outside, the sky ripples with auroras, luminous rivers of memory threading across the firmament. On distant worlds, similar ceremonies unfold, each civilization lighting a beacon to honor the one who became the bridge between remembering and forgetting.
Kael walks through galaxies of ghosts. Every breath, 1,000
Elira walks to the edge of the dome, a reflection merging with the city lights below. Elira, quietly, to herself. You kept your promise, Kael. You remembered us. Now it's our turn. A child nearby, curious, bright-eyed, tugs at her cloak. Child. Will he ever come back? Elira kneels, smiling through tears. Elira. If we ever start to forget again, you'll find a way. She rises, turning to face the horizon. The first dawn of the Age of Remembrance spills across the city, sunlight refracting through the crystalline sanctuaries, painting the world in gold and violet. The camera drifts upward, past the dome, into the stratosphere, into space where the stars glow softly. Among them, one flares a little brighter, Kael's star, pulsing once, as if answering her. Scene 5, The Pilgrim of Ashes. Location, ruins of Vela, years later. The once shattered planet now lies dormant, its surface veiled in pale mist. What was once scorched rock and ruin is slowly being reclaimed by time, tiny blossoms of luminous flora growing from cracks in the stone, feeding on the starlight that never fades here. A small ship descends through the fog, engines humming softly. It lands beside the remnants of the spire, the place where Kael's body dissolved into starlight. From the hatch emerges Serin, older now, his once defiant eyes tempered by years of solitude. His uniform is worn, his insignia erased, no longer a soldier, no longer a rebel. only a man searching for what remains. He steps into the stillness. Serin, whispering. It's quieter than I remembered, as if even the ghosts learn to rest. He kneels, brushing away the ash that coats the ground. Beneath it, faint symbols glimmer, fragments of Kael's last pulse etched into the rock, like veins of light frozen in time. Serin places a small crystal device into the earth, a memory capsule. It activates, projecting a holographic recording. It's Elira, her voice calm yet fragile. Elira, recording. To whoever finds this, we built anew, but the past still breathes beneath our feet. The age of remembrance thrives, yet even remembrance fades if not spoken aloud. So we return here, each decade, to remind the stars why they shine. The recording flickers and fades. Serin watches the empty air for a long time, then speaks softly. Serin. I thought time would make it easier, but it only makes him feel further away. He reaches into his coat and withdraws a shard of the veil, translucent, faintly glowing. The last remnant of the ancient force that once divided reality. Serin, continuing. You'd laugh if you saw us now, Kael. Humans and exiled teaching children the same stories. Building temples to memory. Pretending we've learned. Maybe we have, or maybe we've just learned how to hide our forgetting. He places the shard beside the capsule. The light from both merges into a single, gentle beam that rises upward into the clouds, joining the auroras above. A whisper rides the wind, not a voice, but a memory of one. Kael's voice, echoing faintly. Remember, not for me, but for yourselves. Serin looks up sharply, eyes glistening. Serin, smiling faintly. Still haunting the faithful, huh? Some things never change. He stands, gazing toward the horizon, where new settlements shimmer faintly in the distance, the light of civilization reborn. Serin, softly, to himself. You gave them a world that remembers. Now let me give you a promise, we'll keep the fire lit. He presses his palm to the earth, the light from beneath pulses once more, as if answering his vow. He turns to leave, but just before he boards the ship, he stops, glancing back at the ruins. Serin. Goodbye, old friend, or maybe, good night, until we forget again. The ship rises, cutting through the mist. As it ascends, the camera lingers on the ruins. The light from the capsule flares, tracing Kael's symbol across the ground, a star encircled by a spiral, before fading into the soil. The sound of a heartbeat echoes faintly, then stops. Scene 6, the final horizon. Location, orbiting the reborn world, the observation deck of the Ark Station. The scene opens in silence. Through a vast glass dome, the reborn planet Vela glows below, no longer fractured or bleeding light, but whole, serene. Rivers of luminous blue trace across its surface like veins of a living being. In orbit, the Ark Station drifts slowly, its hull engraved with verses from Kael's final words, "To remember is to live twice." Inside, Elira stands alone at the viewport. Her hair is silvered with age, but her eyes still carry that same unyielding fire, the light of one who has seen too much to ever forget. She holds a small crystalline recorder, the same one used to archive Kael's final transmissions. Her reflection in the glass seems doubled, herself, and a shadow of who she was when the war began. Elira, quietly, activating recorder. This is Elira of the Remembrance Council. If you're hearing this, centuries may have passed. The stars might bear new names. But somewhere, a child will look up and wonder where we came from, and that is where this story begins again. She pauses, her gaze drifting to the planet below. A tear slides down her cheek, catching the starlight. Elira, continuing. Kael gave his life so the universe could remember itself, its beauty, its cruelty, its truth. But remembrance is not eternal. It must be chosen, again and again, with every breath we take. She sets the recorder down on the console. The lights dim as the Ark station begins to hum, energy channels opening. Outside, fleets of new generation ships prepare for launch, vessels built by both human and exiled hands, destined to carry memory beyond the stars. Elira, softly. You once asked me what freedom was, Kael. I think I finally know. It isn't breaking chains, it's understanding why they were forged. The hum grows. The recorder flickers, its projection forming Kael's spectral silhouette, faint, starlit, smiling. Kael, softly, echoing. You kept the fire burning. Elira, smiling through tears. Always. The light surrounding the station intensifies. The projection fades as Elira lifts her hand to the glass, as if touching the face of the world one last time. Elira, final words. If they ever forget, let the stars remind them. We were here. We remembered. And we loved. The Ark's engines ignite, slowly at first, then with brilliance. It ascends toward the outer horizon, where the galaxy curves into darkness. The camera follows as the vessel becomes a single speck of light, merging with the constellations. As it vanishes, the stars themselves pulse once, as though the universe inhales. Then, silence. A single line fades onto the screen, written in Kael's hand. Nothing truly ends where memory still breathes. Fade to black. After a long pause, a faint, distorted signal flickers, static, then a new voice, distant and trembling. This is Commander Lyrie of the Deep Horizon Colony. We've found something buried beneath the surface, something ancient. It bears his mark. The sound of a low, rising tone, like the heartbeat of a sleeping god. Title card. The Forgotten Planets, The Memory War. Post-credits transmission, The Pulse in the Dark. Black screen. Static hiss. Then, 3 slow heart-like thuds, echoing through the void. A scrambled comm signal cuts in, distorted voices overlapping, like multiple radio bands caught in interference. Gradually, one voice becomes clear, Commander Lyrie, the same explorer whose voice closed the final horizon. Lyrie, urgent whisper. Recording this for the Deep Archive. We've reached sublayer 9 beneath the equatorial crust. The readings are impossible. The strata are alive. Metal creaks, faint rumble. Engineer, through comm. Commander, the symbols, they are glowing again. Same sequence as the remembrance script. Should we abort? Lyrie. No. Increase power to the scanners. Whatever's down here, it's not stone. It's a lattice of memory. Another surge of static. Then a low tone, rhythmic, almost like breathing. Lyrie, softly, half in awe. I can hear it. A voice inside the frequency. It's saying, bind us not as ghosts, but as truth.
In the silence after thunder, I can
The team falls silent. The tone deepens, transforming into a pulse that rattles the hull. Technician, shouting. Commander. The field's destabilizing, it's waking up. Lyrie, whispering. Run diagnostics on the neural patterns, wait, these aren't random. She pauses. Her voice trembles. They match the Kael sequence. A burst of light floods the audio feed, alarms blare, then cut abruptly. Only the hum remains. Unknown voice, calm, layered, unmistakably Kael's. Did you think remembrance would rest forever? The transmission crackles, looping fragments of his words like a mantra. Memory is never gentle. Forgetting is annihilation. We begin again. Silence returns, broken only by a final whisper, part human, part cosmic. Kael, fading. The stars remember, and so shall you. Signal collapses into static. Screen remains black for a long beat before the faint image of Kael's symbol, the star encircled by a spiral, flickers, then vanishes in. Transmission ended, archive node 01// the memory war begins. If this story moved you, if the echoes of the Forgotten Planet stirred something within, I kindly invite you to become part of this journey. Your support keeps these worlds alive, your presence gives breath to every word. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and keep offering your kind encouragement. Every comment, every gesture of appreciation, helps this universe grow a little brighter. Until we meet again among the stars, stay inspired, stay curious, and remember, the stars never forget those who dare to remember them.
In the silence after thunder, I can hear their names. Echoes of the worlds we lost, burning in the flames. The sky is torn, the veil undone. Every truth we buried now becomes the sun. Kael walks through galaxies of ghosts, every breath 1,000 souls. Elira's tears fall through the void, love against the undertow. The stars remember what we tried to hide. Their light won't fade, though the gods have died. Every war we lost, every prayer denied, still burns in the dark. The stars remember. Serin stands where shadows bloom, faith and fear in perfect tune. History breathes through mortal hands, time unravels, shifting sands. In every screaming, a sacred hymn. In every light, the inner truth begins. The vessel trembles, worlds collide. Eternity beneath this skin. The stars remember what we tried to hide. The light won't fade, though the gods have died. Every world we lost, every prayer denied, still burns in the dark. The stars remember. When the forgotten rise again, who will choose what truth remains? Are we saviors, are we sin? When remembrance lives within. The stars remember the silence we disguise. The dawn of remembrance lights the skies, through love, through loss, through endless ember. The stars